Welcome into another video. This time we're doing our current ADP, the top 10 rounds currently right now, to see where people are kind of falling to help you best prepare for your drafts. I'm excited to get this thing started. Let's go ahead and rock into the first slide here. We're looking into the first round right now, and current ADP right now, we see Christian McCaffrey actually jumping ahead of Jamar Chase. So we have Justin Jefferson going at the 101 right now, which is kind of common. He is the best player in fantasy football right now, followed by Christian McCaffrey and Jamar Chase. Not really too much to shake a stick at there. Austin Eckler at the 4 spot. Me personally, I do not like Austin Eckler that early. I think just all the things that went down with him in the offseason, wanting to be traded, ended up not being traded. I don't think the Chargers are going to use him the same as he did last year. And based on the last 5 years, the number 1 rusher in fantasy football did not repeat. Austin Eckler was number 1 last year, so that pretty much tells you he's almost a lock and load not to be the number 1 again this year. And picking him at the 4 spot, I'm just not seeing it right now. Yes, he could get a good workload, but I think they drafted another rookie wide receiver. They're going to be passing the ball even more. So after that, we got Cooper Kupp. I really do like Cooper Kupp this year, especially if Matthew Stafford can stay healthy. I think Cooper Kupp is a top flight wide receiver and the 3rd receiver off the board here. 106, we're looking at Travis Kelce. Last year, he was going at the end of the first round. Now we're looking at he's creeping up in the top half of the draft. He is just that good. He is a set it and forget it type of player that can really set the tone for your team and set an advantage for you, because there's no other tight end that even comes close to what Travis Kelce is producing. Going at the 107, we're seeing Tyreek Hill, then Saquon Barkley, who just signed himself a 1-year, $11 million deal with the Giants, so he's locked and loaded for this season. Bijan Robinson, the rookie, coming in at 109. I think that's a good value for Bijan. I do think he's going to be splitting carry with Tyler Algier, but I do see Bijan Robinson being a top flight fantasy running back this season. I wouldn't take him ahead of Jonathan Taylor, but he's coming at the 109. People are really excited about what he the 110, Jonathan Taylor. I do like the value at Taylor right now. He's kind of falling in the drafts. And just a couple years ago, if we do remember, Jonathan Taylor was the number 1 overall player going off the board. Now he's at the 110. Followed there, the last two, 111, we have CeeDee Lamb, and the 112, AJ Brown, 2 wide receivers that I believe are complete studs. You can't go wrong with either, guys. That's the first round of current ADP right now. Let's go over to the second round, see if we can see any surprises. So in the second round, we have Stephon Diggs coming at the 201. I really like that. The 202, Nick Chubb. I really like Nick Chubb this year. I mean, Kareem Hunt is no longer on the team, which means Nick Chubb is going to have a lot more opportunities to score points, and I love that. 203, we're looking at Patrick Mahomes, the best quarterback in football. Nothing's going to change. 204, Josh Jacobs. I'm sure we're going to see him slip in the ADP as the weeks go by, especially now that he left Las Vegas and he's no longer with the team right now because he wants a new contract. So I'm pretty sure we're going to see Josh Jacobs really start to fall at ADP as people start to be scared that he should do or have a holdout. So the 205, Devontae Adams coming in. Gonna have to see what he does with Jimmy G, but Devontae Adams is Adams. As long as he can get the ball in the area of Adams, he's gonna catch the ball. 206 is Josh Allen. 207, Amon-Ra St. Brown. 208, Garrett Wilson. We have 2 running backs with Derrick Henry, Tony Pollard, and then Jalen Hurts. So the 3rd quarterback going off the board in the second round. This is way different than what we are normally seeing in fantasy football. We always normally like to preach, especially here on the channel, do not draft your quarterbacks early. But it started to become a quarterback league almost, with all these quarterbacks coming off the board so early and having the average draft position with 3 quarterbacks going in the second round. A little bit unheard of right now, but we have they're fantastic picks. Overall to place in your team. They're just a little too high for my blood. I like a lot of the other quarterbacks going down, so let other people draft their quarterbacks really early, and then you can kind of swipe up still a really solid quarterback, but load up on your skill positions right now. And at the 212, we have Waddle. Moving right along to the 3rd round, we're going to look at Ramondre Stevenson at the 301. I think Ramondre Stevenson is a sleeper this season. I think that a lot of people are really sleeping on him with the New England Patriots, but he is going to be the man now with Damian Harris out of there. Breece Hall coming at the 302. I know they have Dalvin Cook visiting as of the recording of this video. Hopefully he doesn't go there, because that would completely destroy Breece Hall's value, in my opinion. So Then we have Najee Harris at the 303. I think that's a solid place to have Najee Harris. And another tight end coming off the board, and Mark Andrews should be the sole target for Lamar Jackson there now that Jackson got himself a new contract and he's got a new toy on the outside in Odell Beckham Jr. Mark Andrews should be freed up a little bit more to have even more opportunities for fantasy football. I'm excited to see what he can do this season. Devonta Smith at the 305. Chris Olave, who I am super high on this year, at the 306, and then T. Higgins next at 307. I think a very good value. And yet another quarterback coming off the board, and Joe Burrow at the 308. Another one. We've seen 4 quarterbacks already go off in the first 3 rounds. Again, very, very unheard of, but that's just the way of the lands nowadays. So 309, Travis Etienne. I think that might be a little too high for me. I think Tank Bigsby coming in there for Jacksonville is going to be limiting Travis Etienne quite a bit more than what people might expect. 310 DK Metcalf, great value there. 311 Kenneth Walker. We'll have to see what Zach Charbonnet brings to the table, and if it does hurt Walker whatsoever, but it did at least push Kenneth Walker down the ADP a little bit by having that draft position. 312 Jahmyr Gibbs. Gibbs should be the man in Detroit. I look forward to seeing if he can stay healthy, being under 200 pounds. See what he's at, 199 pounds. So normally the history says those type of running backs don't do that well, but maybe Gibbs could be an outlier, so we can see. Moving right along over here to the 4th round, we're looking at Lamar Jackson at the 401, Deebo Samuel, Joe Mixon, Amari Cooper, Aaron Jones, and another quarterback in Justin Herbert coming off the board. Keenan Allen, TJ Hawkinson. I do like Hawkinson this season ever since coming over from the Lions to the Vikings. He was a key part of that offense. And yet another quarterback coming off the board, Justin Fields. I know a lot of people are really high on Justin Fields this season. I am not. I think he is a one-year wonder type of thing. It's almost like when you saw the Wildcat offense come out with the Dolphins a long time ago. They were tearing up the NFL. Same thing with Justin Fields because he was running the ball so much. But what happened the year after the Wildcat came out? The Dolphins started getting shut down because they started figuring out how to stop it. And I think they're going to figure out how to stop Justin Fields and force him to throw the ball. And I just don't think Justin Fields, as of right now, has shown that he can be consistent throwing the football. Maybe acquiring DJ Moore is going to help that situation. We're just going to have to wait and see. Going at 410, Damian Pierce. I do like Pierce this season. I don't care about Devin Singletary going over there. I still think Pierce is going to have plenty of opportunities to score and plenty of opportunities to be a top 10 running back in the NFL this season. J.K. Dobbins, a fantastic running back. His problem is he just can't stay healthy. So a little risky for me in the 4th round for J.K. Dobbins. I'd rather get a little bit more safety under my belt. And then Calvin Ridley coming in at the 412. Hasn't played football last season due to his gambling stuff. Coming over from the Falcons now over here to the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think he's going to be good. He's a solid wide receiver, and he's going to show out in Jacksonville. So let's move right on to the 5th round here. We got Miles Sanders coming at the 501. I do like Miles Sanders. I think Sanders will be the man for the Carolina Panthers. I think there's nobody else sitting there. I'm not worried about the Chuba Hubbard behind him or anything like that. Miles Sanders with a rookie quarterback and Bryce Young is going to get a lot of opportunities to touch the football because they want to take pressure off of Bryce Young so he doesn't have to do everything with his arm as a rookie. Miles Sanders, the coaches have already said that they want to get him early and often involved into this offense, and I think it's going to be absolutely fantastic. Coming to 502, you have Terry McLaurin, and 503, DeAndre Hopkins. Hopkins is going to be signing over here with the Tennessee Titans. Now, granted, the quarterback play might not be great, but with Ryan Tannehill, he can produce fantasy wide receivers a la A.J. Brown, but who knows how long he is going to stay the quarterback. They could turn to the rookie sooner rather than later, and I don't think Will Levis is going to be the answer for DeAndre Hopkins. I think it's going to be good early on. Once he gets high, I would trade him away. Not only his age is taking up with him, but he's not going to be do well with a rookie quarterback sitting there throwing the football. We come at the 504, you're going to have George Kittle. George Kittle's another tight end coming off the board. The 505, Dalvin Cook. Cook is still going in the 5th round, even though he doesn't have a team as of right now, but there's a good chance he could either be on the Jets or the Bills, as the Miami Dolphins have yet to reach out to Dalvin Cook to offer him a contract. So Dalvin Cook, whether or not he goes to the Jets or the Bills, I think will be really good value for him. Really good opportunities either way. I think he's going to play. I mean, he's a 1,000-yard rusher. It's just going to take him a little bit of time. The 506, Alexander Madison. I think the 5th round is way too low for Alexander Madison. I think the opportunities that is going to arise for this guy, he is an absolute stud, and people do not know it yet. He's going to be a 1st-round draft pick come next year. Mark my words. He's a phenomenal talent. If you can get him in the 5th round, please run up to the podium and swoop this guy up. He will do wonders for your fantasy team this season. So coming at the 507, we're looking at DJ Moore coming over from Carolina now with the Bears. He's got Justin Fields still on the ball. Now, can he get hyper targeted by Justin Fields and have some type of fantasy relevance? Yeah, absolutely. But having a quarterback who struggles to throw 200 yards, 150 yards in a game doesn't really kind of tickle my fancy to go up there and draft this guy. So really worried about DJ Moore in the 5th round. I think that's too much of a risk for me. Coming at 508, you have Trevor Lawrence. It's just what I was saying. Like, you might want to take, in the 3rd round, 2nd round, 3rd round, whatever is going to Jalen Hurts. I mean, why don't you wait a couple more rounds, grab your guys? You can have even a Trevor Lawrence in the 5th round. I think, he's not going to put up as many points as Jalen Hurts, but he's still going to be competent, a quarterback enough for you to win a lot of football games, and you can get a lot of talent around Trevor Lawrence. Well, the 509 Christian Watson, I think it's absolutely crazy to think Christian Watson is being drafted among Jerry Jeudy and Drake London. Jerry Jeudy and Drake London, I think, are far superior talent-wise than Christian Watson, and they have far superior quarterback play than Christian Watson. I just think that both Desmond Ridder and Russell Wilson are a lot better than Jordan Love. I could be mistaken, but just what I've seen from Jordan Love so far doesn't, get me excited to know what was on the other side of the fence. So I don't like Christian Watson as far as a 5th round. I think that's way too high. And I'd rather have the people after him, Jerry Jeudy and Drake London as well. And then Cam Akers coming in at the 511. A lot of people are high on Cam Akers this season. I'm kind of really hesitant this year. Not sure he is going to be the man. There have been so much fallout with Cam Akers, whether he's with the team, he's not with the team, he doesn't want to play, he wants to play. Who knows if they really even want him over there, but if he's going to be good, he needs to be good this year, because this could be Matthew Stafford's last season. Moving right along to the 6th round here, we're going with DeAndre Swift at the 601. I think he just needs to stay healthy. I think he's got a great opportunity here with the Eagles. I think the problem is for his whole career is that he just can't stay healthy. He's uber talented, absolutely, but his health is a big concern for me, and definitely a red flag. I'm pretty much scratched him off of all of my draft list just because I don't want to have that headache during the season. I'm at the 602, a huge disappointment. Kyle Pitts has all the talent in the world, just cannot put it together, whether it's him struggling with the playbook early on in his pro career, now just a lack of quarterback play. He hasn't had a lot of good opportunities. Maybe Desmond Ridder can turn around this year. We can start seeing Kyle Pitts show the potential that he was supposed to have coming out of college. Chris Godwin coming at the 603, which I think is an amazing sleeper right there, going way too late. I think that Mike Evans is not going to be a 1,000-yard receiver for the first time in his career, and Chris Godwin will be the beneficiary of all the quarterback play not named Tom Brady. Whether it's Baker Mayfield or Kyle Trask at quarterback, I think they're going to be dinking and dunking quite a bit, and that's right up Chris Godwin's avenue. So I think he's in for another 100 receptions this year and could be a solid fantasy aspect for you. I'm telling you, if you can grab him in the 6th round, go run up there and grab Chris Godwin. I think it's an amazing value. I'm at the 604, James Conner. I do believe Conner will end up being benched towards the mid to late season. I think they're going to want to get these rookies in, especially if Kyler Murray doesn't come back from injury. There's no reason to sit there and run James Conner on the ground when I don't think the Cardinals are going to win 6, 7, 8 games this season. So 605, Rachaad White, another running back here. I think he's going to have a lot more opportunities to shine and show what he can do. Especially with the quarterback play, they're probably going to be leaning on White quite a bit, so he should be able to rack up some decent points for you. Mike Williams, I still like him at the 606, even though they drafted Quentin Johnston there. I still think Mike Williams, Allah can stay healthy, but he's got the hands, he's got the talent, he's got the height, got the big body, red zone targets. I think he's going to be a solid fantasy producer for you. Christian Kirk, coming in now at the 6th round, I think he's got to take a knock because of Calvin Ridley, but just with the passing volume alone, I think Christian Kirk still has some solid value for your fantasy team, even though, yes, they do have Calvin Ridley back. I think Christian Kirk's a good option right there. And we got 2 tight ends back-to-back, Dallas Goedert and Darren Waller. Waller is going to be a new kid on the block for the Giants, moving over from the Raiders. I think he's going to be great for Daniel Jones. They don't have a lot of pass catching opportunity there, and I think Waller will be the man for this offense and score a plethora of points and could even creep back into the top 5 overall tight ends in fantasy football this season. I'm at the 6'10", Michael Pittman Jr. I think he's got the rookie quarterback and AR, and I think, as long as AR can develop some accuracy, I think Michael Pittman can have a solid season. I think a lot of people are going to have to stack the box to try to stop AR from running. And I think if that's the case, he should be able to throw it over the top to Michael Pittman. He could come out having a decent season. So Brandon Ayuk at the 6'11", like that pick as well. Javonte Williams at the 6'12", really scares me. Is Devontae really healthy? And even if he does come back, they're not going to give him a full workload. That's one of the reasons why they signed Samaje Perine. So Javonte Williams, I think overall, he's just a big stay away from me this season. I love drafting Samaje Perine later on in the draft, just in case, God forbid, Javonte Williams does get hurt again. But he had a devastating injury, and now he's coming back. He might be back for week 1. Now he won't be back for week 1. Then he will be back for week 1. You just don't know what's going to happen for him. And even if he does play week 1, he's not going to be fully 100% ready to go, and they're not going to give him 15, 20 touches a game. So either way you go, he's just not a good value for me. Roll over to the 7th round here. We got Isaiah Pacheco coming at the 701. Pacheco really started showing out for the Chiefs later on last season. I think he's going to be a solid pick for anybody, especially getting him in the 7th round. I think he's going to be great. He's 100% ready to go. He's going to be good to go for week 1. Tyler Lockett at the 702. Some people may say, oh, you know, is he going to be losing anything to the rookie? I don't think so. Tyler Lockett, he's a good, solid wide receiver. He's got the trust of Geno Smith. And I think he's somebody that, he's going to blow up some games. He's not going to be a consistent guy for you, but there's going to be plenty of games he comes out there and he gets you some boom, 1 or 2 touchdown, long bomb, 40-yard passes, pass catches from Geno Smith, and I think he's going to do well for your fantasy team. I just don't think he's going to have consistently week in and week out numbers, so he's going to frustrate you some weeks. But Tyler Lockett is still somebody definitely worthy of getting. We have David Montgomery here at the next. I think his value done plummeted after they drafted Jahmyr Gibbs. Marquise Brown, good wide receiver. Mike Evans, again, I think he's going to be a bust this year. I don't think he gets to 1,000 yards for the first time in his career. Deontay Johnson, I do like him, but I do think George Pickens will be passing him up on the pecking order before midseason. I think George Pickens will be the number 1 wide receiver. Deontay Johnson will be 2. Deshaun Watson coming in there. James Cook. I mean, there's rumors again, Dalvin Cook possibly could be over there to Buffalo if he doesn't end up signing with the Jets. And man, if his brother goes there, I'm sorry, James, but you're going to have to take a back seat because Dalvin Cook's way better than you, man. Dak Prescott coming at the 709, I think is great value. He loves to throw the football. 710, Alvin Kamara, now that his legal stuff is over, he will probably have a suspension, but we don't know as of this recording how long his suspension will be. Some people are rumored between just 1, 2, or 3 games. I'm thinking it's going to be at least half the season, and he's somebody that I would just have to take off of my draft list until we have some more clarity on what's going on with that. 7-11, George Pickens, we talked about him a little earlier. I think he will be the number 1 wide receiver for the Steelers. In 7-12, Treylon Burks, who was a sleeper at one point until DeAndre Hopkins came to town. Now, I am no longer interested in Treylon Burks. I just don't think the passing opportunity is there. I just don't think the quarterback play is there or the offense is there. It's all Derrick Henry, and then the rest of that's going to go to DeAndre Hopkins. There's going to be no room for Treylon Burks to succeed. Yes, he'll probably have a couple good games, but he won't be consistent enough to be a viable option for you week in and week out. And at the 7th round, there's other people when you can get 1 pick ahead. George Pickens, I mean, that's kind of what I want to do. So let's move right along over to the 8th round here. We got A.J. Dillon coming in at the running back spot. Jordan Addison at the wide receiver spot. Antonio Gibson is the running back, which I'm really high on. A lot of people don't remember J.D. McKissick is no longer with the team, and that's a lot of passes that's going to go to Gibson's opportunity. So if you're playing in a PPR league, a half PPR league, I think Gibson's a good opportunity for your RB2 spot or even into flex. 804, Kadarius Toney. He could be the main guy for Patrick Mahomes. We have to wait and see how that goes, but Toney does have the skill set to be a phenomenal wide receiver in the league. Jackson Smith and Jigba, I think he's going to be absolutely phenomenal for the Seahawks. Now, people don't remember when he played in Ohio State. He played alongside Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave, and he was actually the better receiver of the 3. So I think he's just phenomenal. His route running, his hands, everything about him is really, really good. Grab him up if you can grab him in the 8th round. I think it's a great value for that rookie. At the 806, we have Jahan Dotson and Evan Ingram at the 807, signing a new contract with the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think he's a solid tight end. Tua Tagovailoa at the 808. As long as he can stay out of the concussions, he's going to be absolutely phenomenal. He's got some weapons on the outside, and he can put up some points. Thing is, he just needs to stay healthy. So hopefully he can stay up healthy. He is bulking up a little bit to really maintain his weight. I think it's good for him. At the tight end spot again, Pat Freiermuth. I think he's a solid tight end as well. Brian Robinson and Jamal Williams. Jamal Williams is a very good sleeper this year. I think he's going to be solid. If Alvin Kamara only ends up with a 2 to 3 game suspension, I think Jamal Williams' value is obviously going to drop, but overall, very good running back. He's still going to get his opportunities even if Alvin Kamara comes back onto the field. And then at the 8-12, we have Brandon Cooks going over to the Dallas Cowboys. I think he's still going to have enough opportunities in this passing volume to be a competent wide receiver, take some pressure off of CeeDee Lamb. I do like the move. Moving on to round 9 now. At the 901 is a big sleeper for me, and that's going to be David Njoku. I'm really liking this guy. His skill set is phenomenal, and I'm hoping that Deshaun Watson really got over all of his nerves from not playing so long, and these guys are going to connect early and often on the football field. Not a lot of people are drafted Njoku early on, so you could definitely get this guy and have a solid tight end for your fantasy season. I really like this guy. The 902, we've already touched on him a little bit. Samaje Perine, I'm down for getting this guy, especially when you get him closer to the double-digit rounds. I think he's just phenomenal, because if, God forbid, something happened to the starting Javonte, I think Samaje would be a phenomenal running back for the Denver Broncos. 903, Zach Charbonnet coming in here. Is he going to take a lot from Kenneth Walker? We have to wait and see. Gabe Davis falling all the way to the 904, way different than he was last year, but he just didn't come to fruition. But he does have those games in him where he can have those boom games and he can win you a week. So Gabe Davis, a good wide receiver 3 or flex play for me. 905, Khalil Herbert. 906, Devon Achane. I don't like this guy. I think he's just way too small. Yeah, he's fast, he's shifty, might be a good kick returner, punt returner, but this guy, I would just stay away. I don't want this guy on my team. I just don't see it like a lot of people do. 907, Daniel Jones. I think he's going to be a lot better quarterback than he was last season, especially getting Darren Waller at the tight end spot. Rashad Penny, he could be the starter for the Eagles. We're going to have to wait and see how that goes. Right now, he's kind of buried on the depth chart a little bit. 909, we have Courtland Sutton and then Michael Thomas, 2 wide receivers that were a lot more prominent than what they are today, but they have the opportunities to succeed, so we're going to have to wait and see how that goes. Let's see, at the 9-11, we're going with Kirk Cousins, another good quarterback to pick up later in the drafts and could really be good for your fantasy team. And the 9-12, Quentin Johnson. I do like Quentin Johnson. I think he's going to be really good. And if there is an injury to the injury-prone wide receivers in Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, Quentin Johnson could have a great opportunity with a quarterback who loves to sling the football. Let's go over the last round that we're going to go over today, round 10. We have Anthony Richardson coming in. I think he could be one of the best fantasy football quarterbacks you have ever seen in your life, just based on his skill set. He's fast, he's big, he's tall. He's a bigger, faster version of Cam Newton. If he can get a little bit more accuracy, I think he's going to be phenomenal. I think he throws the ball just good enough. I think he's got plenty of opportunity, especially with Jonathan Taylor in the backfield. Look, this guy could be crazy. Grab him up in the 10th round. You want to get a couple guys like Anthony Richardson and Aaron Rodgers later. Stack those two up, and you have Rodgers until Anthony Richardson comes to fruition. Shoot, I wouldn't be mad at you. Get Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson. Any of those combos are really good for you. And then at the 10-02, Juju Smith-Schuster. I think he's going to be good with the Patriots. He should be the number 1 wide receiver over there. Aaron Rodgers. Damian Harris, Geno Smith, another quarterback you can get later on. Elijah Mitchell moving over to the Browns. The Browns did not have a slot wide receiver, so I think Elijah Moore should have a lot more opportunities with them. Jared Goff, another quarterback that I think you'd be fine with. I think Jared Goff can put up a lot of points. He should get the rookie back from a suspension. Was it Jameson Williams? So I think he's going to be phenomenal. 10-08, Odell Beckham Jr. I can't believe he's going to the 10th round. I think Odell Beckham's a lot better than what people give him credit for. I mean, it was 8 of the last 10 games with the Rams last season. He scored a touchdown. The guy can still play. He hasn't played a lot because of all the injuries. So if he can keep it together, I think he'll be fine. Jameson Williams is the guy we just talked about with Jared Goff. You know, he's finally back from injury, but now he's got the gambling problem he's got to deal with. So once he gets back on the field, he could be the number 1 guy for this offense, even over Amon-Ra St. Brown. We'll have to wait and see. Dalton Schultz now moving over to the Houston Texans from the Dallas Cowboys. Great opportunity, guy. Rookie quarterback down there, CJ Stroud. He's going to want a safety blanket. You know how I say it all the time on this show that we have to get the safety blankets for these rookie quarterbacks, and I think this is no different. Elijah Mitchell coming at the 10-11. I don't like that pick whatsoever. It would take a injury to Christian McCaffrey for him to do anything relevancy. So, but 10th round, a little early for me. I'd like to get him a little later, just to stash on the bench, just in case, God forbid, something does happen to Christian McCaffrey. Elijah Mitchell can put up some points. Then at the 10-12, a big sleeper for me would be Chico Okonkwo. Even though DeAndre Hopkins went over to that team, I still think Chico can really put up the points for the Titans. Sleeper for you this season. Now, as always, thank you for watching the video, guys. Hit the subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. Hit the like button on the video. Always appreciate it, guys. We're climbing. We're throwing out videos 2 to 3 weeks, 2-3 times a week, every single week, leading you guys up to your NFL drafts and throughout your season. Guys, we do not take a break here on this channel. It's 24/7. We're going all the way, and we're going to make sure we produce the most stuff for you and your fantasy team to ultimately win a championship. I can't wait to see you guys on the next video. We'll see you guys next time.